Hi, I'm Mary Helen Roberts. I'm the legislative representative for the 21st District, which is Edmonds, Linwood, and Mukilteo. And it was suggested that maybe I should tell a little bit more about myself to have you understand a little more about me. And I guess one of the things that comes to my mind is, since this is such a pressure cooker with so much going on, when I get home and want to relax, I do knitting. And this is what I've gotten done so far this session. And this is not quite halfway done, and it's going to be a shawl, and I'm going to give it to someone. But anyway, that's part of what I do when I have to sit through long meetings or not so interesting television programs. I want to tell you also about the town hall meeting that we held in the district just this past weekend. There were about 200 people there, and I spoke, as did my fellow representative Mark Olias and our Senator Paul Shin. And we had chosen to make the focus of this meeting on education. And we began with the usual introductions, and then I gave a presentation about early learning, which is the area of education that I am currently most involved in. And when we talk about early learning, we really mean all of those experiences that a child has from birth to about 5, that is before they enter the formal education process. So it includes the most basic of conversation that parents have with the baby, the cooing and the smiling, and it moves into hearing words and starting to develop vocabulary and having books read to them. It also covers preschool and quality childcare, where children are in a stimulating environment. And then it can also involve programs like Head Start and the state's program that we call ECAP. One of the questions that came up after my presentation was, weren't we starting to tell people how to raise their children? And my response was a very strong no, but what we do want people to know is what the research tells us, and that is that an infant's brain is growing very quickly, and all of the things that go on around them can have an impact on their brain development, and that can be very positive, and it can also have negative consequences. The other question said, aren't we taking money out of our K-12 system for early learning? And I don't really think so. Most of what we do are part of our social service network, not part of our education budget. But also, the more a child has positive experiences in their early years, the better a student they are when they get to kindergarten. They have some sense about words and reading, and hopefully they've learned some of those social emotional skills, such as listening to directions, sitting still when you're told to, that make it easier for the schools to work with them. We spend a lot of money on special education, helping kids catch up. And it's so important that we have them enter school ready to move forward. When kids enter school behind, it's very likely that they may never catch up. And our efforts to bring them up are really very expensive. Another one of the questions, after we moved through the other parts of education, our K-12 and higher education systems, had to do with the likelihood of the state moving forward to establishing a Snohomish County University. And that's really not going to happen in the near future, just because our budget situation doesn't allow it. But it was brought up, and I emphasized that we already have 2 community colleges in Snohomish County, the one in Edmonds and the one in Everett, and both of those have a co-location program with one of our 4-year schools. So there are a number of ways that you can earn a bachelor's degree in a Snohomish County institution. We're also very close to the combination community college and branch of the University of Washington that's located in Bothell. Another question had to do with legislation that we are considering that expands the rights of those that are in domestic partnerships. And this is legislation that addresses law and policy to assure that those individuals are fully protected and share the same rights and privileges that married couples do. Another question that came up was about Payne Field, and I happen to live under the flight path of a great number of airplanes, and I am very aware of the concern that many homeowners have about the potential expansion of Payne Field to include commercial aircraft. Unfortunately, the state legislature really has very little to say about what happens at Payne Field. We have done a number of things to try and bring more employers into the area that are part of the aerospace industry. But it is the federal government through the Federal Aviation Administration and our county government that will really make the final decisions about what happens at Payne Field. Also, I wanted to mention that some concern has been expressed to me about bills that people have thought might hurt business. And I really want to assure people how much the legislature values business for its addition to our economy, for the jobs that it creates, and we really are looking very closely at legislation that's proposed to make sure that it doesn't have a negative impact. In fact, we are looking to what we can do to help stimulate business so that they can create more jobs, because our tax structure relies so heavily not only on businesses directly through our business and occupation tax, but on them indirectly for the goods that they sell. Our sales tax, as you know, is a significant portion of our general fund budget. And lastly, we had a question addressing drug laws. And this is a time throughout the United States when a lot of state legislatures are taking a second look at our criminalization of so many drugs and controlled substances. I'm one of those people that says, are these laws really making our communities safer? Does it really do us good to treat someone as a criminal who may have a substance problem? But at the moment, there isn't legislation, at least alive in the House, that would address that. So that's something that folks may want to talk to elected officials about. I'd like to thank you for tuning into this program. At the end of the broadcast, there will be information about how you can be in touch with me. I have lots of contact with individuals through phone calls, letters, and particularly internet. My email address will be on the end of this tape, and I encourage you to be in touch. And thank you for your time.